up YouTube? This is Up Your Alley, aka Allie Mason, here with a new video. This is going to be focusing on a dark dramatic eye with some dramatic false eyelashes. If you want to see how I achieve this look, please keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. So we're going to start off with some primer. I'm using the e.l.f. Hydrating Primer, and I'm using my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge to move that product onto our face. I've been using this primer because my skin is very dry, and it gives me more of a flawless finish and acts as a moisturizer. Then we're going to use the CoverGirl TruBlend in the shade M3, and I'm going to put a few dots onto my face, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge to blend out everything evenly onto the entire face, to my ears, hairline, and down my neck, since my body has always been darker than my face. So we just want to make sure we match. The CoverGirl Clean Concealer in shade Light. I always opt to go about 1 to 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, since we are highlighting these areas later. And I'm going to use the applicator to apply it under my eyes and underneath my brows, as well as on my forehead, between my eyes, and down the bridge of my nose. We're also applying it to near my lips, because that's where we're going to also be highlighting. We also are going to use this today for some of my breakouts, just a little tiny bit on the area. And we're going to use my Real Techniques blending sponge, and we're going to blend that out. You want to make sure you use a tapping motion instead of wiping the product onto your face, because we are concealing these specific areas. To use the NYX Contour.Correct.Contour palette, and we're using a MAC concealer brush. The numbers will be in the description box below, and we're going to pick up this shade that is the reddish pink in the bottom part of the palette for underneath the eyes, and then we're also picking up this yellow shade right next to it just to conceal some of these red areas I have on my face. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but this palette is in the shade Light. I'm using my Real Techniques sponge just to blend that product out onto those areas, and again using the same tapping motion just to keep those areas corrected. And as you can see, my dark circles are starting to disappear. And then we're going to use the NYX HD Finishing Powder in the shade Invisible, and I'm going to use the flat edge of my Real Techniques sponge, and we're going to start baking the product onto our face. And this finishing powder sets our concealer and color corrector, so we're going to leave the powder on our face for a few minutes, and then we're going to focus on other areas of our face. So then we're going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit in the shade Light Sculpt, and using the MAC 133 brush to apply this shade. And I'm going to apply it to underneath my cheekbones and the sides of my nose, kind of minimize the size of my nose. And then we're going to apply it to underneath my nose as well, kind of give it more sculpted definition. And I'm using this also to minimize my forehead. And so I'm applying it near my hairline, but not quite on the hairline, and just to give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm also applying it to my jawline just to give me a more sculpted look. We're not going to blend it just yet because we're going to start with my brows. I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown, and I'm using an e.l.f. Cosmetics brow brush just to kind of brush out my brows. And then I'm using a MAC brow brush. I don't remember the number, but the description box will have the number. And I'm going to start applying this product in the middle and to the tail of my brow, just because we don't want to have too much of a boxed in effect. And I feel like it's not cute, number one, and number two, it looks like somebody took a Sharpie to my face, and I know that we were all guilty of that at one point. So I am applying this, just kind of blending it out a little bit and getting as much product off this brush as I can, because a little bit, again, goes a long way. And we're going to still use the same brush to apply this to the other brow. My camera was not focusing on that side, so I'm doing exactly the same thing. And as you can see, I'm going for a more natural look onto the beginning of my brow. And I've only had to dip my brush in there twice, and no more than that. You don't want to go too hard with this. Since I am platinum blonde now, I'm trying to have a dark brow but still make it look natural, and I'm just gonna brush through my brows to give it more natural appearance. So then we're going to use a Real Techniques powder brush just to get this finishing powder moving onto our face, just to set our concealer and color corrector. And I am then going to start blending in my contour with the Real Techniques Beauty Blender. And I am just tapping and using a tapping motion to kind of give myself a more natural, defined look. And the main focus is going to be those eyes. So I just wanted to do a really subtle contour. And then you're going to blend it out onto your nose as well. It gets a little bit tricky, so make sure you use the pointier part of the sponge so that you don't mess anything up. And I'm also blending that into my hairline, just making it look more natural. To go in with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance 24-hour long wear, and I'm doing a drop for each eye since a little bit goes a long way, and I'm using my finger to blend this out onto my lid and up to my brow bone, since we want the eyeshadow to last all day long and we don't want any fallout from it. So yeah, just want to make sure you tap your lids and get that product all over your lids. Then we're going to start with our eyeshadow, and I'm going to use the Sweet Peach by Too Faced palette. I cannot talk today. With the MAC 235E brush, and we're going to use the shade White Peach. It shows up white on camera, but in my opinion, it looks a little bit more beige to me, and it's not shimmery, so it's a perfect base shade for this look. And we're going to go into our inner corner and up to the brow bone just to enhance those brows. Then we're going to use the Urban Decay brush that comes with the Naked Smokey Eye palette, and we're going to pick up the shade Password. This is a cool toned gray, and it's really, really pretty. So of course I have to use this for my smoky eye, and I'm blending this into my crease with the brush that came with the palette. On the other end, there's a more tapered brush for applying underneath the lower lash line or in the inner corner, which I love. And I'm just using the fluffier end just to blend in this shade. Then we're going to use the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette again, and we're going to pick up the shade Peach Pit. This is a purple shimmery tone, and we're using the MAC 234E blending brush, and we're going to concentrate that into our outer corner and kind of make like a V shape when we're applying this product. You want to go with a light hand because it can end up looking really harsh if you do not blend it out correctly. So we're going to be spending quite a bit of time blending this out. Smokey Eye palette in the shade Smolder, and it's a cool toned dark purple. We're going to pop that into the outer corner and into the crease a little bit. And we're going to then use the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette in the shade Luscious. And we're using this light gold shade to go over top of the white peach that we put on earlier and to make our eyes pop a little bit. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of this shade underneath my brows just to give them more definition and kind of make them stand out as well. And we're just going to kind of pat that into the corner a little bit. Then we're going to use my e.l.f. Cosmetics brow brush. I hated it as a brow brush, so I'm using it as a lower lash line eyeliner brush kind of thing. So I'm using the shade Peach Pit, and we're going to smoke out this lower lash line, kind of tie our look together. Then we're going to use the Naked Smokey Eye palette again, and we're going to use the shade Armor. And this is a shimmery silvery tone, and we're going to put this into the outer corner and into the crease a little bit to add more sparkle, because hey, who doesn't like sparkle? And we used a lot of matte shades, so I just wanted to kind of make this more dramatic. So then we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild Megaliter in the shade Black, and we're going to do some winged liner on our top lash line before we put our lashes on. And I always suggest to start in the inner corner or the middle and kind of work your way out, and then draw a slanted upwards line and kind of use whatever is left on your wand to fill in any gaps. And try not to blink for like 10 seconds or the stuff will go everywhere. I'm not kidding. Then we're going to do the same thing on to the other eye, and yeah, just kind of work your way outwards and kind of slant upwards with a line, and then fill in the gaps. This liner only cost me $3, but I swear it works just like a high-end liquid eyeliner. Then we're going to go in with the NYX Wonder Pencil after our liquid eyeliner is dry, and we're going to apply that to our waterline. And this cancels out any redness. If you get any if you get bloodshot eyes in some point of the day, it kind of cancels it out and makes you look more awake. And I just like the effect of a nude liner. Then we're going to use the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. This has a really thin wand, so it lengthens your lashes and separates them as well. I like putting on mascara before I put on my falsies, just because it blends better once you put them on. And I'm doing the lower lashes as well. You can stop at this step if you don't feel comfortable putting lashes on, but me personally, I prefer to have them on. And shout out to Laura Lee for using that beauty hack of using a spoolie if you get any excess mascara on your face. Then we're going to use the Ardell Glamour lashes. I already have them cut in size to my eye shape, and we're going to use some tweezers, oops, dropped it, to hold the lashes while we put the duo eyelash glue on. I'm using the green kind because I'm allergic to some of the ingredients in the blue, and we're going to kind of wait until the glue gets a little bit tacky and apply that lash. And I'm using my tweezers to get a more precise application, and I'm using my finger to pat them on there and make sure that everything is even and looking good. And yep, everything is so far so good. I love these lashes. They don't look natural, but I'm going for a dramatic look anyway. So I absolutely love them. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other eye. Just make sure you grab the middle part of the lashes and hold on tight with the tweezers, and then put some lash glue onto the entire strip. Going to blend our lashes with the Smashbox Full Exposure Mascara. It's volumizing mascara and makes them look more natural. And then we're going to use the Urban Decay Naked Illuminator Highlight, and I'm using the brush that comes with the kit, and I'm going to brush that onto underneath my eye where my concealer was earlier, onto my cheekbones, and onto the bridge of my nose, on my upper lip, and the areas where I put concealer. And this is in the shade Luminous. This works really well for fair skin tones or light skin tones. This used to not show up on me when I was tanning on a regular basis, so just to let you know if you want to go buy it. And there's no such thing as ODing on highlights, so I'm just putting a lot of it on there. Then I'm going to use the Becca Cosmetics Mineral Blush in the shade Flowerchild, and I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics Flawless Blush Brush in the number 127, and we're going to dust that onto the apples of our cheeks. Yep, I had to refilm this part because my phone died, because my phone sucks. So yeah. And you don't want to look like Bozo the Clown, so you just want to make sure you pat that out and blend it as much as you can. And then we're going to contour again, and I'm using the NYX Highlight and Contour Powder Palette, and I'm using this small contour brush I got from my Ipsy Glam Bag subscription, and I'm using the shade Sculpt since this is about 2 shades darker than my skin tone currently. And we're going to go underneath my blush, and yeah, I just want to make sure you blend that out so you don't keep that harsh line there like I have it. And we're going to go underneath the cheekbones, onto the sides of our nose, and then my jaw and my hairline. So then we're going to use this Sephora brand lip crayon that I've been loving lately. I'm using the shade Merry Muave, so it's kind of a light pink shade, and it's a cool tone, so it ties in really well with our look. And then I'm going to use the Arctic Apricot lip crayon that I got in the same kit, and I'm going over top of the Mauve shade. And I'm not going to put on lipstick today because I desperately need to keep my lips moisturized, and I'm letting my hair down, but I always love to curl my hair when I do a dramatic look like this. I think it just gives everything light. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you.